Okay, so we're doing yin, and the yin practice, along with our recipes of yoga, I've called it oven at the right temperature, because yin practice is something that you've got to really experience and get in there and come to the edge, which would be what the right temperature is, kind of. Then you'll go a little bit further, but you mustn't push yourself past that edge when you're in a yin position. So, and it's one of those build-up things. So as we go along, I'll say a little bit more about what the Chinese traditional medicine ideas are involved with yin tonight and what we're doing. But if we just start in cross-legged, it's all floor-based. I have got my bricks. We'll need bricks handy just for a bit of propping. If you want to sit on the edge of a brick or a cushion, just for the, we're going to do a little bit of a breath practice just to start. So we're thinking of the Lingana breath that we did yesterday, I think it was, where we're extending the exhale on the breath. This is only if you're comfortable to do it. If you want to just stick with the inhale, exhale for 4 and your normal count, then that's fine. But try and slow the breath down as much as you can. So we're inhaling for 4 a couple of times and then exhaling for 4. And then we'll move to inhale 4, exhale 5 twice. And then if you want to try and lengthen it, inhale 4, exhale 6. The tip for this recipe is not to push out the breath when you're exhaling. So start slowly and dribble it out, and then come really down to the bottom to empty. If you force it out too quickly or gasp inhale too quickly, you won't be able to extend the breath, and it'll be a bit of a rush. So let's start with the inhale, exhale. Find your posture first of all, draw the tummy in. Allow the shoulders just to settle down away from the ears tonight. Find some loose relaxation in the shoulders before we begin. And then begin with an inhale for 4. Closing the eyes. Experience the breath a little bit more. Exhale for 4 when you're ready, your own count. Try and make it nice and slow and smooth. Inhale right down to your sit bones if you can. And exhale for 4 from your sit bones up. Feel that softening as your shoulders then start to sink on the exhale. Take one more in, 4, X4. Feel the rising and the falling with the breath. Next, inhale for 4. Then if you can, exhale for 5. So start really slowly and just try and lengthen, extend that exhale a little bit further. Two more of those. Inhale 4, exhale 5. Watch you're not speeding up your count to try and get it in. If you are, just let the breath be. Let it take its own length. Try not to think too much or it makes you a little bit anxious. Inhale 4, exhale 5 last time. If you go out of rhythm with me, just do your own thing. Get ready to go to the exhale 6 on the next breath. So inhale 4. When you're ready. And then really slowly at the start, exhale and try and make it count to 6. So really feel your body emptying, everything sinking down towards your sit bones. Try not to gasp back into the inhale, just start gently again. Inhale 4 when you're ready. Exhale 6. One more. We're doing this all through the nostrils at the moment. And then inhale 4 and exhale as long as you can through the mouth. So a big sigh this time. 2 more of those. Inhale, 4. Exhale through your mouth as long as you can make the exhale. Quite a different experience from using the nostrils. Is it easier or is it harder for you? After the last one, release the breath. Keep your eyes closed just for a second. Notice what's happened, any difference to your body, maybe a difference in heat, difference in energy. Maybe you feel calmer, maybe you feel more grounded. And then gently flick your eyes open. Okay, so we're going to start just gently with the first movement is just taking our right ear over to our right shoulder. Take your left hand and place it on the floor, or keep it on your knee if that's too strong for you. This just extends that lengthening down the side of the left side of your neck there. And then if you're comfortable, take your hand, your right hand, pop it on the top center of your head, but just over your left ear. So your fingers are over your left ear. Puts a little bit of weight. Don't pull. Just allow that right arm to be heavy. So you're using the weight, but you're not forcing anything. If that's too strong, as I say, take your right hand away and pop your left hand back onto your knee. And then close your eyes again for a few seconds. We'll be here. Just noticing if you can relax anything. And then just feel that opening on the left side of your neck. If you've been at a desk all day, you may find this quite powerful. And breathe. Yin's about really getting in there into the experience. So closing your eyes is a really good way to start that. Become aware of what's happening inside you rather than around you. Okay, so carefully move your right hand to the other side of your head and use it just to help your neck as you come back up to center, to neutral. Your head's really heavy, remember, it's about 7 kilos, so don't ever just whip it up from a position like that. So maybe have a little roll from side to side, looking downwards, just a gentle roll backwards and forwards. And then bring your head back up and move to the other side, left ear, gently moving over to the left shoulder. Might feel a bit strange, the energy there. Right hand on the floor or on your knee, and then if you're comfortable, bring the left hand up, fingers pointing towards the ear. Remember, it's just the weight here, it's not pulling. But make sure your elbows not come forward. Try and take it back so it's in line with your left ear. And then try and let your shoulder blades just sink down your back. Notice if you're rounding forward. So draw your heart up a little bit. Lift your heart slightly and just feel what happens in your back, upper back then. And then come back to the right side of your neck. You might still be feeling the rebound on your left side, which I am. Remember to use your breath, particularly if any anxiety or even boredom kicks in. Use your breath to focus on. If you can't just come in and experience what's happening in your body, or that's not enough for you, focus on your breath. It's much more tangible. So actually, you're probably feeling this more on the right side of your neck. Okay, so we're coming back up. So take the hand to the left side of the head and gently prop your head back up onto your shoulders. Release both hands. Have a little roll through both shoulders, taking them backwards and sliding them down your back. And then forwards. And then we're coming off cross leg now. So you'll still need this a brick or a cushion, not the tall bricks. If you've got a cushion or something low, you'll need it possibly for the next position. I certainly do. There is an option here. This one's quite strong. So we're lying down on our tummies, first of all. Your legs can just be where you're comfortable. So they can be wide or they can be together, wherever they're comfortable. We're just going to then take your right hand and cross it across the front of your body. So a bit like when we do thread the needle. But then you're just going to lay down on top of it. So your chest then comes on across. If I turn this way, you might can see better. So you're taking your right hand across and then you're just lying down on top of that. So you'll feel this through your right shoulder. Your left hand then we're taking in front of us. And then your forehead either comes to the floor, which might be a bit strong for your neck. So you can take a block or a cushion and pop it under your head. Just under your forehead, or take your head to the side and look towards your left. So your right shoulder is where your where the sensations are in this yin pose. It's quite a big opener. It doesn't seem like you're doing very much, but it can be quite uncomfortable. If it is too uncomfortable for you, then take your arms out into goalposts. We're still getting some opening in the shoulders that way. Otherwise, try and find stillness. That's one point of yin that we really need to do, is find the stillness and then watch the sensation. And you may have started off feeling that it was really tight and powerful and not too much, but on the edge. But then as you breathe and gravity takes its toll on you, you might find it starts to loosen a little bit. You might find that you can let your shoulder relax a bit more. So the right shoulder may have been holding on. As you let go a little bit of those muscles, you'll feel that opening in the back of the right shoulder possibly. So we're only going to be here for about a minute in each of these poses tonight. We really don't have time to take much longer than that in them, but it's just to show you some poses. The longer you stay in these poses, then the bigger benefits and sensations you'll get from them. But sometimes we feel very uncomfortable with them. So focus on the breath if you're not quite sure. And I will keep talking so that we don't get left in silence, because that is part of yin normally, but online it's a bit difficult. Okay, so we're going to move from this. So press into your left hand, lift your body weight up, lift your arm out, stretch it away from you if you can. You might want to put your chest on the floor. Just take the arm out to the side, your right arm, open it up, open up your armpit. Just take a moment there to feel that rebound. You've compressed and you're now opening the front of the right shoulder. And then when you're ready, move to the other side. So we come up. My feet are up. That's only because the wall's behind me. You will have your feet out behind you. So left arm this time is going across. But what you're trying to do is make sure you're flat, that you're not rolling onto your side body here. You're opening up through the shoulder. So this might be a completely different experience from the other side. I've got one shoulder that's completely different. You might find that too. Right hand comes in front of you. You can prop yourself a little bit with it. Pop your head again on the floor, on your brick, to the side, looking towards your left this time, right this time, if you feel that's more comfortable. Wherever your head is, it's just for comfort. We're really focusing on the left shoulder now. Again, you might be holding on. So try and use your breath, move it to that area. Use the exhale to try and let it go a little bit. And tonight we're focusing on some traditional Chinese medicine thoughts on this, but we're focusing on their view of 5 seasons, one being late summer. So this is summer, which is governed by the element of fire. They have 5 elements that go with each season. And this is the element of fire we're thinking of tonight. So the element fire is part of people's character as well, and it's the one that would bring out the emotions, vitality in people. I'm not going to make you stay here too long as I talk, so we're going to move out of this, which is called broken wing, by pressing into a right hand, lifting up and taking the left arm then out. And then you can maybe move your brick away from you, take your forehead to the floor and stretch out. You might want the brick still there, it's no problem if you do. Take your arms out to the side, so it's shoulder height directly out. You're still facing downwards. Just allow your body to settle a little bit into the floor and feel that rebound through both shoulder joints. And then we're going to move into our next pose, which is still on our bellies, and it's Sphinx. So again, you might want a brick here for your head if you want to use a brick. The head's not really part of it, so you can use your head on the brick if you want. Bring your elbows under your shoulders. If you're not using the brick, you want to tuck your chin and lengthen through the crown. The back of the body, remember, we press down with the pelvis. But this time we're going to take our right leg and we're going to bend it up beside us. So you're in half frog. Okay, so you're in half frog. So this right leg is at a right angle and the foot is flexed at a right angle. And then we're up in Sphinx on the front body. So this foot's going straight back behind me. I can't do it because of the wall. That's quite strong for some people. So if it's too difficult to have it bent, just lower it a little bit. Don't bring it up as high as your hip. Okay, so you can take it in any range in that area, but have it, try and have it out to the side to open the front of this thigh. So Sphinx is another heart opener, and we're obviously focusing on, well, we're not obviously, fire is governed by two organs in our body, one being the heart, which is the yin, the subtle organ that is connected to fire. So that's quite easily seen in it, the fact that heart governs emotions. And then the other one is a small intestine, which is the yang organ that is governed by fire, which again is quite easy to see why the connection, because that's where everything's burned up and used like our oven basically. So when you're ready, swap legs. So right leg then goes straight back out behind you on the floor, and then take the left leg up, try and bring it up hip height to knee if you can, at a right angle here with your body, and then a right angle and your foot flexed on its side. So you can see my foot there. So this is half frog and Sphinx. So we're still in Sphinx on the front body, on the upper body rather. Again, you can use the brick if your head's getting a bit heavy. Pop the forehead on the tall side of the brick, or just tuck your chin and lengthen through the crown. Try and watch you're not putting a little bit of a twist in the bottom half. So both pelvic joints should still be facing as much as possible down towards the floor. So a fire person with a character that's governed by fire, we all have a bit of everything in us, but particularly these people would be happy people, people pleasers, the life and soul of the party, rather dramatic. But because of fire, they can be a little bit up and down. The thermostat can be a little bit out of control sometimes. And if that's the case, then when they're unbalanced, that's when the dramatic side of them really comes into play. And also they can go the other way, and the fire can dull down if they become quite depressed then and close their heart basically for protection. So that is according to traditional Chinese medicine. This is all just for interest's sake. I think it's quite interesting how all these old ancient cultures have a lot of the same threads running through them. Okay, so we're moving out of this one. As I say, it's quite subtle, some of these movements. You might not really think you've done very much in that, but you have opened hips, etc. If it's easy for you, it's probably because your hips are opening easily in that way. So we're going into seal now. So again, you might want to use the brick for your forehead, the tall end. We're taking the hands out in front of us slightly to the width of the mat. And then we're pressing into the hands and rolling up. So again, the bottom half, we've got the pelvic joints into the floor, tummy's lifted, squeezing to support the lower back. You're rolling your heart forward along the mat and then pressing into the hands and lifting up. And don't lock your elbows, but arms are long. This is quite powerful, quite strong on the upper body. It won't be here too long, but if it is too strong for you, then you may want to come down and you may want to come into Cobra, which is quite powerful too, but you get a bit of support in Cobra from your hands under your shoulders. So you decide whether you want seal or Cobra. Again, as I say, you can use something if you need to support your head. And breathe. Think of your shoulders. You may feel them sinking. Try and draw them back a little bit. Push into your hands and lift a little bit higher. Find your edge and try and hold there, but breathe naturally. Yin's an incredible thing for teaching patience. You're probably feeling this along the back of your arms, possibly, in your palms of your hands. If it's in your neck, try and tuck your chin and lengthen your neck a little bit more and reach through your crown. If it's in your lower back, press into your pelvic joint and lift your tummy off the floor a little bit more, open the front body and then zip it up. It might be between your shoulder blades, so try and squeeze that spot together and slide it down your back. And then just breathe. And notice if your body again begins to settle and sink. Try and draw it to the next edge. Lift up. And then release slowly, elbows come down towards the mat. Take your forehead to the floor. Sweep your arms maybe down by your sides. And allow your shoulders to spread across the back of your body. It's a counter pose. See if you can feel where you've been working on the back of the body and try and release it with your exhale. So again, that was a heart opener, very much linked again to the yin side. These are meridians that run through you according to traditional Chinese medicine, which actually have been found in medical research that we do have all these channels linking in our body. So that's quite interesting that medicine is now catching up with these ancient cultures in their theory. Okay, so when you're ready, come up into tabletop. And we're going to come in to thread the needle. So thread the needle is always slightly easier. If in tabletop, you slightly widen your knee stance. So rather than being hip distance apart, you can take them slightly wider, and that means that it's easier to twist around your hips. Do remember that your hips can come with you in this one. So we're going to go right hand first. So we're going to reach up with the right hand and then we're going to lower it slowly, take it through under the left elbow, folding at the left elbow, bringing the right ear down to the floor. Take the right hand out as far as you can. And then if you're comfortable, you can either here take your arm up above you in a twist and really stack the shoulder blades. Or if that's a little bit strong to hold, you can take the hand and reach out in front of you. So lift up the tummies, make sure you're still in tabletop legs at the back. So we've still got that right angle. Try and lift up the tummy, lift up the lower back a little bit so you've not got too big a dip there. And then whichever way you've decided to stay, you can, if you need to, lower the arm if it gets a bit heavy. Close your eyes. Find where the points of your body that you really are screaming attention. And try and focus on somewhere that you can't really notice. And don't forget to breathe. So a real side opener, heart opener here. And also working around the abdominal area, so your small intestine that they speak about in the fire. And feel the weight now pouring down into your right shoulder. Try and relax it a little bit if you can. Quite a similar sensation to the first broken wing position that we did. If you can feel the heat building inside that right shoulder. If anybody experiences pain at any point, please draw back out of any of these positions, by the way. There should be discomfort, but there should never be pain. So if there's any sensation of tingling or pins and needles, draw back. We don't want to cut off circulation completely here. And then when you're ready, bring the left arm down, come back up slowly to tabletop. You might want to take the right arm up and open up the other way, open your wing up again the other way. You might want to just take some circles round shoulders and knees here, one way and then the other. And then come to stillness. And just close your eyes and focus on both shoulders and see if you can sense any difference. And then when you're ready, we're coming to the other side. So we're lifting our left arm up, opening up, and then feeding it through under the right arm, coming down onto the left ear, bottom still sticking up. So lift up the tummy to support the lower back. Let the twist come in if it needs to. Take a right hand up in the air as we did before, or take it straight out in front of you along the mat. Find your alignment and then find your breath. So this idea of a heart meridian, they also made a point that this burner of in the heart, the fire, is inextinguishable, which brought me to a quote by someone just to have a think about as we're here, and about this meridian, this heart meridian that never goes out. In everyone's life at some time, our inner fire seems to go out, but then it bursts into flames on an encounter with another human being. We should all be thankful for those people who rekindle the inner spirit. So yin can also act a little bit like nidra. Beware that it may bring up emotional sensations as well as physical sensations. So be gentle on yourself through yin and after it, because it can open up things that you weren't expecting. Okay, so when you're ready, come back up from into tabletop. If you want to open again and lift the left arm up, feel free to do that. Take a little wriggle around your knees and wrists again if you need to. And then we're coming down. Choice here is puppy pose. So your back end stays as it is. And we just walk the hands forward, coming down onto our elbows and then moving the elbows forward. Your hips stay above your knees and you're moving your heart down towards the floor. The choice here otherwise is child's pose with extended arms. Coming up onto your fingertips if you can, head to the floor. Head in either position can be on a brick if you need it, or a block. Or if you really want to go for it in puppy pose, you can take your chin to the floor and lower your heart down. But beware with that one that you're not crunching the back of your neck. So there's a bit of lengthening there before you come onto your chin. So this is puppy pose or extended Bhekasana. Again, both heart openers. So when I thought of this fire, it made me think about my aga. How middle class and first world is that? But it made me think about the aga's fire is great when it burns freely, but it does have a habit of jumping if you're not careful. You can turn it up and down with a thermostat. If the flame gets too high, it can become quite dangerous and it can obviously make the oven too hot. It can burn things, destroy anything that you're trying to cook. And if it's too low, it can actually flood itself and burn out. So the heart physically, we think of keeping it regulated, our blood and our circulation, which is what we're trying to move here freely. But it's also the same if you think of your heart as being the organizer of your emotions. We have to keep them balanced, keep the steady rhythm, keep the flame alive, but not let it burn too high. Easier said than done. Okay, so when you're ready, come back up. You might want to come onto your knees now just for a second. Again, have a little circle through your shoulders. Done quite a lot of shoulder work there, so have a little gentle movement through your shoulders. And then come to stillness on your knees if you come. Just a moment, this isn't a pose. We do close our eyes and again go back to the shoulders and to sensations. Maybe come to the front of your body, to that area we think of where the heart is or where it actually is. But focus on that front of your rib cage, around your sternum. See if you can feel a heat in there. See if you can connect to that area. How does the energy feel? So a balanced heart energy is all about acceptance and harmony and connection and having some self-love, which I would suggest you've all got because you all already come to yoga. Okay, so next pose. This one's a little bit more difficult. So we come into wide leg sitting down. So legs as wide as you feel comfortable. Feet can be flexed if you want to activate the legs here. If you want to just let them go a little bit, then that's fine. But we're thinking about rolling out the inner thighs. So we're rolling onto our sit bones and then we're drawing our tummies in and we're finding that length again. Have your blocks, have your block handy for this one. So with this one, we're going to have the block on our thigh if you're going to use it for a little bit of support. And we're going to lengthen up through the crown, draw the tummies in, and then we're going to move the side body towards the ankle. So if you're using the block, you would put it wherever you feel that you need the support. It might be up here, it might be further down your leg, you might not need it, you might be able just to grab your ankle or your foot, but it's about this armpit to hip movement here. So we're moving the armpit down towards the hip to fold us over. And our left ear is coming down towards our left big toe. So try and then think about the upper shoulder. Roll it back up so that we're A little bit of a twist in there, but then try and move your armpit down a little bit closer towards your thigh. As I say, use the brick if you want some support here. And then your upper arm, you can either take it to the back of your head, which is the strongest pose, and that's really opening up your right side body. If that's a bit strong, take it behind you. And what I like to do is tuck it down the back of my trousers, but over at the left hip. So it's crossed my body and I'm tucking it down the back of my trousers, which just I can hold on to then to pull that shoulder back and open it. And then try and rotate your heart a little bit. So if this is too strong in your neck, you can then take your hand and place your head on it. That might be when you need the brick. There's a lot of cues here. Once we know what we're doing, we can do it easier on the other side. So the thought here is the armpit is moving down towards the left knee or towards the shin if you can. And you're opening up across your collarbones at the same time, so we're not collapsing forward. And then close your eyes and try to breathe. Notice the containment here and notice the opening. Just while we're here, I'll do another reading just to take minds off what we're doing. This is from Bhekasana Iyengar. Iyengar yoga is a type of yoga. He was one of the early lineages. He is known for Iyengar yoga. It's a type of yoga, and it's the one where they use propping. He was very into alignment. His thing was you should always be aligned in an asana. It's not always a thought nowadays, but I thought since we're using the prop here, that's quite a good one to think of. So this is just a little thing that he said but with a lot of thought in it. Yoga is a light which once lit will never dim. The better you practice, the brighter your flame. So when you're ready, we're going to use the left hand then to prop yourself and bring yourself back up to the top. And then take both hands behind you. If you can, turn them backwards or as near backwards as you can, doesn't really matter. This is just a counter pose. We're just going to sit back towards our hands, roll our body open on the front body, take our shoulder blades together, squeeze them at that spot behind our back, tuck the chin still long back of neck and draw the tummy in. And then just breathe. Let the front body open, let the side body open. Take your awareness to your left side body and compare it now to your right side body. So we opened the right side body there. Notice the difference. Hopefully there is one. Okay, so then move up and take it to the other side. So we know where you need the brick. It might be different on this side, be aware of that. So first of all, think of alignment and lifting up through your crown, sitting into your sit bones, rolling the inner thighs out and up. And then we're taking that right armpit down towards the hip. And then we're moving that right armpit along the leg is the feeling. Reaching out until, if you can, clasp your foot and put your forearm on the shin just as some support there, then that's fine. If not, bring your brick in, pop it wherever you feel that you need the support. Support your head again if you want to. You don't need to, but if you feel that you want to do that. It's the side body we're thinking of here. And then the other hand, you can either take it up and pop it behind your head again, really opening up the left side body, or you can take it behind you, tuck it over behind the right side of your waistband of your trousers, and then use that just to try and rotate and open that upper shoulder. And then try and take your armpit down a little bit more if you can. So over towards the ankle. And if you want to, you can look up. If it's too strong, you can always look down. Down is always easier on the neck, but you can here, as I say, support the neck. And then close your eyes. And try and draw in and be aware again of sensations around your body. So our small intestines, as I said, are the other meridian involved here with the fire element, the summer element in traditional Chinese medicine. And there's 72,000 meridians in the body, the same number as the Indians found in nadis, interestingly, I think. I don't know if there was plagiarism there, I hope not. So the small intestine meridian is the yang meridian in this case. It's the one that's active, dynamic. And it, in nutrient terms, of course, sorts out the nutrients from the waste in our body. So that's a fire activity in effect. It burns off what we don't need and uses up what we do and passes it around. It also is mentally, it sorts out pure from impure and emotionally. So that links again with what it does physically in our bodies. It brings mental clarity, and it involves all our ethical decisions are involved in it. It is the organ of discernment, is how they described it. I suppose it comes from gut reactions and all our instincts that come from our tummies. It is very linked to emotions. Okay, so we probably had long enough in that one. So gently bring yourself back up to sitting. And then come back down to the floor. Take a hold of a brick. You'll need a brick here. We did this one yesterday. We're doing it slightly differently in Yin here. So we're on your back. Just for a moment, reach out both legs away from you. Take your hands down by your sides and just notice your side bodies now. Do they feel a little bit more balanced, for one thing, physically? Do they feel any more open? Come to your shoulders. How do they feel now? I haven't really worked on hips tonight. It's been much more upper body. So now we will do a little bit of hips. So bring your right knee in towards your chest, left knee in towards your chest. Take the ankles together, knees together, thighs together. And then we're going to roll over to our left side. So try and keep the feet and the knees and thighs stacked. Let the right shoulder come with you until you find a brick and pop it under your knees or your shin or your thigh, wherever you feel the support is best. And allow your legs to come down onto it. You don't need the brick here, but just for tonight, let's use it, I think. Try and keep the knees stacked though. Take your hand and put it on your knees and find if they're still stacked or if your right hip has drawn your right knee back still. Try and move your right knee forward until it's stacked on top of your left knee, which might draw your right shoulder off the floor a little bit more. But don't worry there so much at the moment. So we've stacked at the hips, then try and release through your bottom hip. Try and let the legs become heavy and take the support of the brick. And then take your right arm, might take your left arm and put it onto the top of your right thigh rather, as a weight, as a counterweight there. And then take your left arm and sweep it up so that it's coming up beside your right ear. Sorry, your right ear. Right arm up by your right ear. That's getting a bit complicated otherwise. It's like twister. Right arm up above and stretched out, but close to your right ear here, as close as you feel comfortable. And then see if you can just shuffle slightly your shoulder to the left and let that right shoulder relax a bit more down towards the floor. But we're still trying to keep the feet and the legs and the thighs stacked. So a big twist here, an opener on the right side body. So we're working on the movement down towards the right side of your small intestine here. Close your eyes. And just notice anything that's building up. And then maybe anything that's releasing to allow that build up. Maybe your ribs on your right side are feeling a bit heavier. Maybe the back of that right shoulder's asking for attention. Excuse me. So slightly different from our normal twisted pose in Uttana here. Jatari Pavriti. Excuse me. I'm thinking of still opening across the chest here. So we can't stay too long in this one, unfortunately. So we're going to have to sweep that arm back down on the right side. Draw the tummy in. Make sure you're looking up above you. Draw the tummy in. Draw the knees a little bit closer to your chest. And then roll back up to center. And then take the brick to the other side. When you're ready, roll right through. Again, check your knees when you come over onto your brick. Pop your hand on your knees and make sure they're in line. Let the left shoulder come with you, first of all. Try and keep your hips stacked, thighs stacked, knees stacked. Right hand on top of the left thigh, just as a bit of a weight there, let it go heavy. And then sweep the left arm up by your left ear. Just as close as is comfortable. Might come to a little bit of an edge there if your shoulder's tight. Just gently wriggle your right shoulder over towards the right side and see if you can then open up across the chest and allow the left shoulder to come down towards the floor a bit more. Back of the hand on the left side is towards the floor. Palm is facing up the way. Any of these positions feel a little bit tight or too much for you, then just bend elbows or do what your body tells you to do. Listen to it to bring a slightly bit more ease into it. Find some sukha, as we did last week. And just breathe. So our side bodies have been worked on here as well a lot tonight. Again, yin's something that you often don't feel anything till the next day. You'll suddenly think, whoa, something's happened in that side of my body, or it feels a bit more open and a bit more fluid. It's a strange thing not to warm up, particularly when we're used to physical exercise, but it is better on colder areas because it can go through to the joint then. If a muscle's warm, it thinks it's supposed to be doing something. Okay, so when we finish that one, draw your tummies in, draw your knees a little bit closer to your chest, make sure you're looking up above you and then roll back up to center. Stretch your legs one at a time down onto the floor and away from you. Maybe take your hands above your head, have a full body stretch. And then take yourself for 2 or 3 seconds into pentacle, which is like 5-star but lying down, so a snow angel effect. You've got your arms out to the side and your legs out wide. And your crown is reaching through, your chin slightly tucked. Close your eyes for a second. Just feel that spread across your chest, under your armpits, down your side bodies. Reach out into all points. Reach through your crown, your hands, your feet. And then try and sense the center part of you. So between your heart and your intestine, draw back to that point. Let everything soften back towards it. Inhale, reach away at all 5 points again. Really reach through fingertips and toes. soles of feet, crown the head, and then find that point on the exhale and soften everything, drawing back in like an elastic band, coming back to center. And then just let go of the breath. Just have a couple of moments here, feeling any sensations that are left over by the class and the practice that we've done. And emotionally notice the sensations you feel, whether you don't feel you've done enough. Is this a sign that perhaps yin is your big challenge? Because if you find it doesn't quite fit the bill, it may be that you're not looking for the right things. Have a think about it. And then when you're ready, come to the end of a class, so just roll over gently to your side. Slowly come up back to a cross-legged. Might want to take a few rolls through shoulders again. Have a little rock through your hips. They haven't done very much tonight. Slide your shoulders up towards your ears and then just let them fall down. 2 more of those. Just let them go. And then bring our hands to heart center. Close our eyes for 2 more seconds. Just feel that fire of the heart behind your thumbs there. May that fire always burn brightly, not too hot, but never dim. Namaste, everybody.